Hi and welcome back to our mini-series where we're going to show you some hints and tips around getting the best out of Microsoft Excel. Many businesses use it and this is your chance to learn some new skills and wow the people around you with new Excel knowledge. This time we're going to cover the VLOOKUP function. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup and it's a function that makes Excel search for a certain value in a column. Once we find that certain value in a column, the formula will return a value from another column in the same row. It's quite useful for comparing information from two sets of data tables, which may have come from different sources. So for example, you may have some regional data in one table and you want a main summary that you want to collate the data in. Or you may have something like VAT data and sales data where one has gross value and the other one has net and tax and you want to group the two together. As long as we have a unique reference that's visible in both tables, Excel's VLOOKUP can return that data for you. Let's go and check out some examples of this. So let's look at some examples. We've got the green example here, which is summary sales data that we might want to take from another tab or just simply data somewhere else in your workbook. And we've also got this sales summary, which is a sales table where I've got gross values, but actually I want to return a tax value and that's only kept in my data tables in my example. So I'm going to use that to pull some data in. So let's start in the green. Let's return our sales value based on our region. So we're going to choose the insert function call. We're going to find our function. For me, it's in my most recently used, but you can search for them. And we have four things that we want to return. The first one is lookup value. So that is the field that we want to look for. So we take that from our summary table. Our table array is where our data is, and you can include headings for that. Now, I'm going to press F4, as we've discussed in the past, to make those absolute references. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to drag that down my summary data table and I want to make sure that my table array stays the same for all fields. And my column index number, that is the column in our data table where we want to return the value from. So for me it's sales value, so it's column 3, region, sales quantity, sales value. And range lookup is where you can set it to be an absolute search. It will only return if it's an exact match, or you can enter true and it will do more of a fuzzy logic search. So you might have spelt Europe, Europa, but it would still return something as long as there's not too many similarities there. I'm going to go with false. And you can see in the screen it will return a value. So we press OK, it returns our value and we can see that that matches the UK value. If we use our double click to fill down, we know that that works. We'll do exactly the same. I'll do exactly the same for quantity and an average. So again, VLOOKUP, our lookup value is region, our table array is this one, and again we're pressing F4 to make it absolute. The quantity is in the second column, and our range lookup for me is false. And you can see it's already returning a value of 156, and we'll drag that down. So let's create this VLOOKUP. We'll go into our tax field and we'll do insert function. We'll find the VLOOKUP. Again, lookup value in this instance is our reference. Our table array is the VAT data table. And again, don't forget the F4 for the absolute reference. And the column index number, I want to return column 4 for the tax value. And the range lookup for me will always be false at this point, because if I haven't got an invoice reference for it, I don't want it to find the closest. And we'll press OK. So we've got our tax value. Again, we can drop that down to the bottom. We do have a column that's not quite wide enough. There we go. So you can see that invoice 4547 was quite a large invoice. It's got a larger number. And just want to prove that we can generate our net value. We don't necessarily have to VLOOKUP this. We can do simply our equals gross minus tax to generate our net value. And again, do the fill to the bottom there. There are some instances where you may encounter some challenges, such as where one table has a reference that another one doesn't, and you get things like NA for not applicable, or you might return some errors. They're things that we're going to cover in a future video. We're going to talk about how to remove errors or return a 0 or a blank in the future. But that is simply how we would do a VLOOKUP. Thank you for joining us in our Excel series. Tune in next time where we'll be covering more features, more functions and more formulas. Thank you.